So that's what we do. We haunt someone, change them into a better person, and then we sing about it. You wait for the day, you prep for a year, and when the big day is finally here, you take a jerk and work to turn them around. Why are they singing?
Oh, because this is a musical.
What is?
All of this. The afterlife. I had a feeling.
Oh, come on, really?
He's like the perfect combination of Mussolini and Seacrest. See, it's a documented fact that one person's kindness can have a ripple effect. Spreading goodwill like a pandemic. No, scratch that, sorry. You know when people at a football stadium stand up and do the wave? Like that, more like that.
So sorry. I'm stuck on the first thing there. You said past, present, future. Like A Christmas Carol? The Dickens story? The Bill Murray movie with Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yes, like the Dickens book and the Bill Murray movie and every other adaptation nobody asked for. Now, please, if you would just let me get this out. Sit.
Here? Okay. I'm again so sorry. So out of all the people on the planet, murderers, racists, people who do gender reveal parties, I'm the guy you're gonna haunt.
Now, fellow, here you are, in a shitty British bar, with a frothy little frown upon your lips. Another pint for me, friend, extra warm.
Your accent blows.
Well, I beg to differ.
Pardon his French. Good afternoon.
Just deplore them with decorum like a Judy bloody dench.
Wait, was that Judi Dench?
Oh my God, she's a national treasure. I love her in everything.
I loved her in that Chocolate.
Chocolat.
Are you okay?
I think so. Yeah. He looks stupid.
Okay, you look stupid.
No. Hey,
He's not even
Dave,
wearing
back
costume.
off.
Okay,
Will you please just get it together?
So that's what we do. We haunt someone, change them into a better person, and then we sing about it. You wait for the day, you prep for a year, and when the big day is finally here, you take a jerk and work to turn them around.
Why are they singing?
Oh, because this is a musical.
What is?
All of this. The afterlife. I had a feeling.
Aw, come on, really?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the musical.
The musical.
Little Fred and Tiny Mick. My husband was on Seacrest. Squirt in your mouth. They're just like, hey, you want some jam? Boop, boop, boop.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
Not going to sing it for me?
No, like I said, I feel so bad because I was so going to just start into song and I couldn't get my computer to help me out today. So I apologize.
That's okay.
Already for disappointing you.
That's okay. Yeah. Wow. I don't think you have ever apologized to me on this podcast ever. I'm so glad.
Yeah, well, I
have this
am a
recording.
little sad. I'm sorry for myself, right? I'm just downtrodden that my idea of putting a greater good musical together did not come to fruition.
Well, for what it's worth, you have, this won't air for another 4 days, so you still got some time. I can always insert it here, and then none of this will make any sense.
Yeah. That is very true, but then we won't have the reaction shots. So
reaction shots to what?
Of like, what the hell was that?
Oh, I see what you mean. Like us going, oh my gosh, Sam, that was great. We could just fake it, right? Like, oh my gosh, Sam, that was amazing. That was incredible.
Yeah, I don't
good job, Sam.
Good. That's so good.
Right?
Like, you were the best. This is the first time I've heard such musical genius.
Yeah.
I can't believe you put so much effort into this little song for this podcast. That's amazing. Good job.
Right? It's the most effort he's put into this show ever. I love it.
Right? Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the positivity.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is episode 425, and tonight we're talking about Spirited. That's right, Spirited, the brand new, just out of the box movie that's on Apple TV Plus.
From Ghibli, where the little girl goes off in the flying castle thing, or the animated studio thing, Japanese animation.
Yeah. Well, we were actually supposed to do that until our guest made me watch Paranormal Activity. So and how do I
on purpose?
And how I know that is because last week when I had to go back and re-edit The Gentleman, and so that I teased that we were going to be watching Spirited Away, and I was like, oh, that would have been such a happier thing than watching Paranormal Activity. That gave me nightmares.
The Spirited. That would have been a good movie.
Yeah,
I kind of like Paranormal Activity though.
I'm glad you enjoyed it
in a different way.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It still gives me
Okay. My boyfriend at the time when that movie came out tainted it because he was like, "It's real, like it's based on a real story," and I'm like, "Dude, there's an alternate ending." Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
In a different dimension.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why she said my boyfriend at the time, not my husband.
Yeah. That ended it.
Yeah,
that ended it.
That's what it is, right?
Critical thinking ability is a big turn on. That's all, you know.
Right. See, all right, guys, paying attention. See, there you go. Critical thinking skills. It does help.
That's the female gaze.
Yeah.
Critical thinking ability.
It's surprising.
Everything else.
Yeah, it's surprising how few people actually have those skill sets. I'm not saying that I do. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that don't. See, I overcome that with humor. So that's how I'm able to stay married. Is like my wife's like, really, you didn't think about that? But then I tell her a joke and it's fine. So
she's like, okay, I'm less mad.
Right? Yeah, because that was actually funny. Yeah. humor is like the salve of my relationship or whatever. Anyway,
I mean, like depending on the joke, right? Like it starts at 10 mad, and then if the joke, depending on how funny, she could like end up at like 1 mad.
I don't think I have a joke that can go from a 10 to a 1. I don't think that exists unless.
Yeah, I as a husband to someone who, I don't think that exists.
Yeah.
Right, from a 10 mad to a 1.
But it doesn't have to be a joke. Like you tell one joke, that brings it down to a 7, and then you go and do a load of dishes, right? And then that brings it down to a 4.
I fell funny down the stairs or something.
Oh no!
Yeah, like a pratfall. Yeah, no,
like a pratfall and.
Yeah, no, I get Jessica. You're actually ultimately right, and at some point we will actually continue to intro this podcast. But you're not wrong with the, you tell the joke and then you go do something nice, right? Like that's obviously how you get the 10 to a 1 is like the culmination. I guess my point was because Tasania was like, yeah, if you can get there isn't either a joke or a story or a scenario or a whatever I could do or say to get it from the 10 to a 1 without having to do at least some groveling and some other chores and things like that. So yeah,
not wrong.
I would just sit down my husband and then do like a whole hour and a half stand-up routine.
Yeah,
see, that's different though.
I have a spotlight and just keep going and
see,
just
but that
wait.
like
it is no fair. Women have the ability to take a 10 to a 1 almost in an instant.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's usually like a dance number involved. It takes a lot of work too. Like it's just.
It happens.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's there.
Yeah. I mean, like you're talking about like a dance and whatever. Like as soon as you said sit him down, usually that takes you from a 10 to a 5 anyway. Like if you just get the guy just gets to sit down. Like you've already like lowered the temperature, right? And then if you say, "Hey, you're gonna sit here for a while. I have some entertainment for you." Like then his mind's gonna start thinking about what he thinks the entertainment's gonna be.
Yeah, but then maybe he'll get mad again when I go up with the mic and I'm like, "Hey, what about all this airplane food?"
Right?
And then he might.
He's like, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting. I was really hoping for a lap dance or something."
That might get you from a 10 to a 15 angry. Like you don't want to. And then he's not angry. He's disappointed.
Added frustration to the whole thing.
Yeah. Boy,
this is going to be a fun science experiment.
Yeah. But again, like Sam and I, we don't have that ability. Like if I said, okay, you need to just sit here, like that escalated it. Like if I tell her to sit down, she's gone from a 10 to a 12.
You need to sit down for a second. Yeah. I don't see that working well.
It doesn't.
Honey, you need to calm down.
Yeah, calm
here. All right. You just take a breath.
No.
Put the knife down. Put the knife down.
And for the record, neither one of us has ever said, "Hey, you need to calm." Well, I can't speak for Sam. I've not been in the room while he and
I'm not that dumb. Come on.
Yeah. I've never once said, "You need to calm down." Not when she's mad at me. Now I will say this. This is getting a little whatever. She was her last job was really stressful, and everyone knows this. When work is stressful, then you bring that stress home. And she was just in a bad mood for about a month. And she had some really bad stuff going on. And so one day she came home and the kids just, whatever. And her wrath was aimed at them. And I had to literally step in and go, "Hey," I handed her a glass of wine and said, "Go upstairs." And I'm like, she's like, "Are you sending me to timeout?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes. Yeah.
You need wine is a very good way to bring the number down. Wine definitely helps.
In the moment it did. Unfortunately, when she came to me later, when the kids went to bed, she's like, "Why did you send me to timeout?" I'm like, "Because you were pretty mad, and I was afraid you were gonna like yell at the kids." And like, she's like, "I wasn't yelling at the kids." I'm like, "Now you're yelling at me." So like,
my husband has sent me for a nap a few times. Like it's like, "You need a nap." I'm like, "Okay, bye."
Well, and that is a special power that husbands and wives have, though, because it's at a certain point in a relationship, you can finally tell somebody, "Why don't you go take a nap?
You need a nap.
Why don't you go play some video games for a while? Why don't you take a, go in the jacuzzi for a little bit. Just go do something other than what you're doing here." And if in a dating relationship, no way. That doesn't work. When you're trapped, you figure out these coping mechanisms to stay alive.
And I'll admit too, there's been a couple of times, not recently, because really work is really nice because I have a new job and it pays me really well, so I have no stress there. But there has been time where my wife was like, "Hey, why don't you go play video games for a little bit?" And like if she says that, then I know that I'm stressing her out. So it's like, oh,
yeah,
and like because you're not even aware of it sometimes. Anyway, we've gone down. I think we have shifted from.
We're infectious, Sonia. This is what we do, all the time.
I really feel it almost feels like we've just merged from Cheapseat Reviews to Opinionated Lushes. Like we
exactly what we do.
Yeah, this is great. So I'm gonna reset here. Rip. This is episode 425, and tonight we're actually gonna talk about Spirited, the Apple TV Plus movie. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Sam. Good afternoon, Vector.
And good afternoon to you too, sir. Good afternoon.
I hope I didn't wake up the kids with that. That was pretty loud.
That was really loud. You talk about getting into an argument.
Oh my gosh.
Someone's gonna be happy.
I just got a text message. I thought it was from my wife saying, "Shut up," but it was from Andrew again.
It was from a 10 to a 1.
Oh
my gosh. Fortunately,
but Sean,
no. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. How are you going to kill me tonight?
Yeah, I've got to kill you tonight. Basically, I'm just going to wrap you in some chains and hit you in the head with whatever the books or whatever it was at the end of the chains.
Like a steel box, right? Like a money box.
I think it might have been a steel box. Maybe it was a money box. Maybe that's what those things were.
It was
I thought
funny.
They were cement bricks.
That's what I thought they were bricks at first too, but yeah, they looked like I don't know, something big and heavy, rectangular.
Yeah, well, and it slapped him in the face, which was really funny. It was just that whole bit was funny. And joining me tonight, who we've heard already a lot of, but joining me tonight is Sonia. Also gets really excited about indoor plumbing and showering once a month. That joke, I only wrote that joke because you live on a farm, like in the middle of nowhere.
I do. I feel like I haven't showered in a month.
Oh, so you don't have to shower. You live on the farm.
I don't.
That's great.
I live on a farm.
Yeah, the chickens won't complain. And also, Jess is really good at pointing.
She isn't. I am actually. That is actually a very good skill of mine.
And they are from the Opinionated Lushes podcast, which I alluded to earlier. Welcome, ladies, back to the show.
It is so good to have you guys back. It's so much fun.
Yeah, well, this is our first time meeting you, so
Sam.
You were,
is it?
Yeah,
I thought
Sam.
we
Yeah.
met before.
No,
okay.
the other guy.
It was just Andrew last time.
It's just the other guy.
Just Andrew.
He's just Andrew right now.
Which Andrew isn't here. He's in the process of moving, so unfortunately he couldn't make it tonight. Also, we did Men in Black last time.
Yes, we did.
So
that's right. Okay, so that's what I remember. Okay,
yeah, that was
the
during
guy with the
your
melting face. And,
that was during your summer of not here.
Summer of love.
You could write a musical about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to listen to that musical.
No, that'd be more depressing than Les Mis, I believe.
Yeah.
We'll stay away from that.
Yeah. But anyway, please tell our listeners more about Opinionated Lushes, and please take this time to talk about the really cool fundraiser you're going to be doing this month, and not just because I'm a part of it, but because of the awesome stuff that you're doing with it.
Okay, Sonia's sick, so I don't want to step up. Do you want to say anything?
No, it's all you.
All me. Okay.
Yeah.
So our podcast is Opinionated Lushes. You can find us on all streaming platforms, all social medias. Just search Opinionated Lushes. We are the first to pop up. And we are 2 out of 3 hosts where we just drink and talk about a bunch of random topics, and sometimes do movie reviews, sometimes do D&D stuff, which we were planning. So we do lots of stuff on our podcast. It's really fun. It's comedy. Come check us out and make a drink and listen and drink along with us. We are hosting a live stream event on December 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. And we are having tons of guests, including Sean from Cheapseats, along with other podcasters and speakers. And we're having like a midnight dance party. And we are raising money for sorry, Sonia, I forgot your charity's name.
541 Eatery and Exchange.
541. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a pay it forward cafe is where you donate money and it goes to like what they call buttons. And each person, it doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in. Every person who needs a button gets buttons and you get up to 5 buttons. And they have everything's pretty cheap there. And for a full breakfast, like hot breakfast, is only like $7. So your meal only ends up being $2 if you use buttons.
Yep.
Well,
and
cool.
It's really cool. So that was her charity pick. My charity pick is for Epilepsy of South Central Ontario, which in Canada we have free healthcare, which is awesome, except if you have something special, because epilepsy is not in the provincial budget. So it's centers like Epilepsy of South Central Ontario that help fund epilepsy programs like safe day camps and helps keep epilepsy kids safe in school. So we are donating to those.
I'm so confused.
Yes.
Do you have to pay for this? I mean, it's supposed to be free healthcare, but is it like you have to pay?
Well, it's in our taxes. For epilepsy, like my quick side. So my son has like a rare form of epilepsy. So his meds are actually covered until he's 25. And all his doctor's appointments, neurologists, all that is covered. Testing is covered. But he can't go to like a regular day camp. And he can't hang out with like kids regularly and like that kind of stuff. So they help provide like educational and support groups and stuff like that for parents and kids and teenagers and job programs and all that stuff for people with epilepsy in that area. So
and I want to mention to you guys are doing the telethon. And my wife came to me, I want to say it was last night. And we've got this electric calendar in our kitchen that I made that has a Google calendar on it. And she says, Sam, why do you have an 11 o'clock p.m. appointment with Opinionated Lushes?
Nice.
And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. It's a podcast. No worries.
It's just a podcast. Our live stream's going to be on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Hopefully, as long as there's no technical difficulties, so your wife can see exactly what's going on at 11 p.m. if she would like.
Did I invite you to that, Sam? Is that why it showed up on the?
Yeah. Somehow it's up on there, but yeah.
That's
great.
Oh yeah, so that's us. So we have new episodes every Friday, unedited video episodes Saturdays on our YouTube. So check us out, follow us, and have a drink and laugh.
If you think we're funny.
Yeah, if you think we're funny.
I think you're hilarious. So that's...
Or drink if you don't think we're funny, because then maybe by the end of the episode you'll think we're funny.
Yeah, and then you'll recommend us to your friends.
Yeah, exactly. 5-star reviews. Thank you.
That's perfect.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely go check them out. They're a lot of fun. So
my wife got me 2 different advent calendars. One is a beer of the day calendar, and the other one is a spirit of the day calendar. So I'll just save like a week, and then I'll have them all on that Saturday for you guys.
Perfect. That's our plan. So you know.
You can like try and chug them at your 11 o'clock visit. Just keep like.
We'll do power hour. We'll just do a power hour with
you have to finish one every 10 minutes, you know.
To keep up, yeah. You'll be going to bed right after.
Yeah, I mean, I just roll over, be like, okay, done.
All right, so time to talk about Spirited. I don't know how to transition from that, so
I know, right?
We're just gonna talk about.
Speaking of spirits,
yeah. Spirited, the 2022 movie Spirited that just came out, starring Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, directed and written by Sean Anders. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about this movie because Sam sent me a message earlier today, and I already kind of know where his mind is on this, but I'm really interested to hear what you guys think, because Sean Anders, this guy, he writes comedies. He wrote let's see, She's Out of My League. He did the 2 Daddy's Home movie, Horrible Bosses. Well, he also wrote Dumb and Dumber 2.
The first Horrible Boss was good.
Yeah, the first one was amazing.
We're the Millers.
Another
I like
funny
that
one.
Yeah.
Let's see. He also directed Horrible Bosses 2, Sex Drive, Instant Family, and Never Been Thawed. What the hell is that?
I guess it's probably frozen somewhere.
Never Been Thawed.
Somebody's frozen.
Sean
it's like
is the. Let's see.
Was it Encino Man back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Brendan
Love
Fraser,
that.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pauly Shore,
Encino Man,
back when Pauly Shore
Had
was
some great
cool.
messages. Back
Yeah.
It's funny, you said Encino Man and you said Brendan Fraser, which just made me think of what's the one where he's a guy who's been locked in a bunker for 30 years.
Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Oh my
God.
gosh. I love that movie.
I just watched that movie like a month ago. It's good.
Honestly,
Anything with Brendan Fraser.
Well, Brendan Fraser's he's a national treasure, and he does.
Fantastic.
I wish he hadn't been, basically blackballed for a while. But my favorite part of that movie, honestly, is when he walks outside and he goes, "It's a Negro." He goes up and he hugs this woman. It cracks me up every time. It's so funny. So anyway, also, by the way, Sam, you'll really appreciate this. So last week I was editing, going back to edit The Gentleman, which again we recorded that in September, and I got to the part where they used the word I'm not going to use. It's the C word, right? But the British use it a lot.
Oh yeah, they use it a lot. Yeah.
And it's that whole bit where they're talking about, he can't call me a black C word. That's racist. He's like, no, it's not racist. He's not saying all black people are that. He's saying you are that, because you are in fact black and the C word. It's this whole bit, and it's hysterical. And I felt so paranoid that it was going to come across as incredibly racist. So I called our good friend of the show, Cornelius, who is black, and I said, "Hey, I need to invoke my racist insurance. Am I okay here?" And he said, "Yeah, you're totally fine." So,
yeah, it's good.
And the funny thing is,
friends to ask.
Yeah,
we're having a really hard time talking about this movie, and it's kind of against what we usually do. Usually, if we hate the movie, we avoid talking about it.
Oh, Spirited,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spirited, the movie. But I have a feeling that it's a little bit of the opposite, insofar that I think we're going to have a hard time coming up with how to really describe this thing. Does that make sense?
Well, other than the 4.5 pages of notes that Jessica took.
Yeah.
Jess, you have, once again, you have way more notes than I do. All right, so we're going to do our 5-word
questions.
Yeah, we're going to do 5-word review here in just a second. But I will say,
questions about this movie too.
I will say this to Sam's point specifically. So typically we don't do comedies. This is, I don't know, maybe our first musical. It might not be. I don't know.
I think we did Nightmare on.
We've not done The Nightmare Before Christmas. We've not.
Are we not?
Nightmare on Elm Street, the musical.
The musical, yeah.
That would be so cool. Do they not have that? They do Evil Dead the musical. Nightmare on Elm Street the musical would be actually awesome. Could you imagine like Freddy coming out and belting like a big operatic like?
Would he be a tenor or would he be a bass?
No, I don't know.
I'm thinking like Phantom of the Opera type. Like Freddy comes out, and you just see a shadow in the boiler, and just it'd be cool. Red lighting on stage.
Percussions on the boilers with like the knife nails.
Oh,
it's like a thing. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And I could totally see some good musical numbers about killing people in dreams and all that sort of stuff. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
It's dreams, you can do anything.
I like
it's like, well, it's a dream. It doesn't have to make sense.
And speaking of Evil Dead the musical, one of my friends is in that run here in Charlotte. She's one of the the ladies that gets killed ultimately. But yeah, she's
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's in it. She's one of my friends from Carowinds, which is really cool. So, but back to Sam's point though about one of the reasons why we don't typically do these kinds of movies for the podcast is that it is sometimes hard to review a comedy because comedy is so subjective. Like the clips I play, they might be funny to me. Well, they're definitely funny to me because I recorded them, but they might not be funny to anybody else. So that's one of the things. But the other thing about this movie in particular, because it's not strictly a comedy, is that there is some heart to this movie, and and some real feel moments. At least
I cried.
Okay, I don't feel bad because I cried too.
I wrote notes.
It's like I don't have time for your tears. I'm writing on paper.
That's right. I have no time for emotion.
Well, you can't cry over paper; it ruins it.
Yeah.
So
So, Sonia, why don't you go ahead and start off with your? Well, I guess usually Sam goes first, but this time, Sonia, you get to go first with your 5-word review.
Okay, great. I didn't like the ending.
Whoa.
That's my 5.
Really?
My 5-word. Yeah.
I guess I should say this also. This movie just came out. We are going to spoil this movie. I usually don't feel like I need to say that because usually it's old movies that we're reviewing, but like we are going to spoil this. So if you don't want to know what happens now, go watch the movie and then
please go watch this movie.
Back.
It is so worth your time. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I thought it landed it. I thought the third act was perfect.
I don't know. I had more questions.
I know. I had so many questions. I feel like that's where it broke for me because I just had questions.
All right.
It broke at the end?
No, it broke in the beginning, but I'll get to that.
At Starbucks that they bring the 3 ghosts at the very beginning? Like, why are they drinking coffee if they're dead?
It broke right kind of after that scene that Sean opened this podcast with for me.
That's the opening scene.
That's the opening number.
You're like,
I'll get into it. I'll get into it. Don't worry. 5-word review. So, Sonia, what did you not like about the ending?
Oh, do you want me to tell? No?
Go ahead.
Sure,
We're here.
So, I didn't like that. So the whole time, apparently, you can talk to these ghosts all the time, all day, every day. And they just decided to make it a regular thing at the end of the movie. Like, you could help so many people. Their whole thing is about making the world a better place. And why don't you do that as a ghost and go clean up Trash Island or something? I don't know, do something better than all the acting and stuff you do to make people change their minds.
Yeah.
If you don't need to sleep, think how much effort you can put into actually changing the planet.
You know what? I'm sitting here trying to find an argument for that. I really am.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That I did kind of bump on that. Because it's well, wait a minute. Will Ferrell was able to be seen by one person because he wanted.
But we don't know why. We still don't know what broke between Will Ferrell and Christine. No, what was her name? The lady.
Yeah, Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, I was I only know the actress.
Kimberly was her name. How did you forget Kimberly? Your wife's name.
Yeah, I forget that all the time. It's just hey you at this point in the marriage.
Hey you.
Yeah, you're not wrong because
there was a lot of story holes in this. So you really had to, I mean, I guess most Christmas movies, you really had to suspend your disbelief to really enjoy this movie. I feel like it's enjoyable.
It's
the acting, the transitions, all that kind of stuff was good. It was just
it's singing ghosts. There's a lot of disbelief that must be suspended. You know what I'm saying? The movie,
but if they can logically explain the singing ghosts, I don't have a problem with it. I believe it.
Well, which they did because she just says
they did not.
No,
I got
she
notes.
did. It's in the intro.
In the intro, she says it's a musical in the afterlife. So then why are they singing in not the afterlife? In that case, Octavia Butler's character should not be singing because the afterlife's a musical. So why is the normal life a musical? That's what I'm saying. That's where it broke for me.
No, because she says, hang on, it's coming.
Why are they singing?
Oh, because this is a musical.
Right. This is a musical.
Keep playing. You're missing the context. Keep playing.
What is?
All of this.
All of this.
Wait, no, keep playing.
The afterlife.
I know it's the afterlife, but like she's literally looking at the camera saying, "We're in a musical." She's telling us this. We're in a musical. That's what it is.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying.
Separation context for Jessica. They should have been like, this whole 2.5 hours that you're going to be watching this is a musical, not the afterlife or not the afterlife.
They just didn't have to say the afterlife. They could have later on said, we're in the afterlife.
What
this
if?
Is a musical.
But we didn't know that at the time.
What if Octavia Spencer was dying?
Well, that would have been an interesting turn of events. I would have liked to see that.
Maybe that's why she could see them.
This movie already had a lot of turns.
So many plot holes. You should write a script.
There we go. We just fixed it. Okay.
Perfect. Now I believe it. It was
we
great.
Fixed it.
Okay.
But I do think it's interesting though that in 250 something years, this is the first time that Will Ferrell's character, the Ghost of Christmas Present, saw a woman and fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's that whole idea of there's one person out there for you.
Sure.
Yeah, but that means he's a cradle robber.
Because she's only 40.
Yeah, problematic age gaps.
Yeah, but it's Hollywood. It's fine.
Yeah. They do that all the time over there. I mean, look at DiCaprio's girlfriends. So.
Forget DiCaprio. What about Billy Ray Cyrus's fiance? She's younger than his daughter.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a thing. Like,
wasn't he married? I thought he was married.
No, they got divorced. Like Miley Cyrus's mom and stuff. They got divorced, and then like 2 months later, he announced he was in a relationship with someone he's known since she was like 15.
He knew her.
So he's like the creepy uncle.
Yeah, like he has known her when she was when Miley was like babysitting for her.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. And weird's not the word. Gross is the word, I guess. It's really
gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Celine Dion's husband.
Yeah.
Like if you raise them, you're not allowed to date them.
Right.
Like that's like a rule.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, for what it's worth, the joke that we're making about the age gap, Will Ferrell is only 3 years older than Octavia Spencer. I just wanted to make sure that like people knew that was a joke, right?
In the context of the movie, he's like 200 years older.
Right,
so.
but he's like a child, so it's almost the opposite, right? Because he doesn't understand things, like when he.
Like his mental capacity makes him younger. The cradle robber.
Yeah, because it was really strange. Because like when he's in ghost form, he's making pop culture references that he knows things. Judi Dench, and he makes reference to Ryan Seacrest.
Oh my God! I laughed out loud. I was worried that my office mates were going to get upset at me on that one.
But he's
when
making
I saw
like
Judi Dench,
he's making like pop culture references. But then when he becomes alive, it's like. He's basically Buddy the Elf.
Yeah.
And then when he sees Buddy the Elf, he says a comment that I may or may not have captured. So, but again, back to your point, Sonia, you're not entirely wrong that like, well, wait a minute, if Ryan can just pop into the real world, and so I mean, like he does it enough that Will Ferrell's kids call him Uncle Ghost, whatever, and then they die for him, and they go through him, and he makes it laugh. That never gets old, which is a funny bit. I mean, I did.
But
laugh.
how many musicals can you really just totally pick apart in terms of idiosyncrasies like this?
All of them. That's part of the fun.
All of them.
That doesn't mean that this isn't still a good time.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said it's just
No, all you said so far is that you hate it. That's all. You have 4 pages.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
We came up with our own plot point fillers, and now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So
We've been here almost an hour. All we know about you is how to make your husband sit down and that you hate this movie. That's all we've learned so far.
Yeah. It's pretty much. It's Christmas time.
All right.
That's all you need.
Jessica, you're dying, I know. Go ahead and give us your 5-word review.
Okay, I got 2, so I'll just do my first one and see what you guys think. Too much Ryan Reynolds. Stop.
What? Oh.
Jessica hates Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, I do have a little personal vendetta, but it's more like
is it because he's
just
Canadian?
Well, it's more just he's everywhere, and he plays the same character in everything.
Yeah.
It's always just Ryan Reynolds in this movie, and you know what? I'm a little over it. I think he's a great actor. I think if he just took like 3 years off, if I went like 3 years without like a Ryan Reynolds movie in my face, then I might like him again. You know what I'm saying? Just a little. It's saturating the market.
While I totally agree with that, I think this part was made for him in terms of his personality and the one-note character that he generally is.
Well, like a lot of the movies he plays, it's great for his like asshole humor.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that he does, obnoxious. I'm always going to get what I want characters like that.
But I think that it was written well enough in this one to not be overly obnoxious like he is in some of the other ones.
I think,
and like the whatever the Rock movie he was in was just too much Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's just that he, being a big prolific actor, a lot of writers are writing parts for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's not like I don't feel like he's auditioning for these parts. I feel like people are like, hey, Ryan Reynolds, do you want to sign in on this project? So
yeah, but I do think that there are certain actors that no longer have to audition. You know, like there you do get to a point in which you're just like, hey,
like Pauly Shore.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example. I do remember when we did the Wolf of Wall Street. Scorsese wrote that part for Superbad, whatever his name is. Jonah Hill. And Jonah Hill was like, no, I want to actually audition for the role. And he's like, okay. So they did an open audition, but he still got the part because he was written for him. So, you know, like there are. You think Tom Cruise has auditioned for a role in the last 25 years?
That's not the problem. The problem is Ryan Reynolds won't be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to say no to a couple roles for 3 years. Like I'm putting the onus on Reynolds here.
He's like become Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
You know, for like the longest time,
yes.
Nicolas Cage said yes to everything.
Okay, hold on. Nope.
Cage syndrome. Everywhere.
Wait, stop.
Every movie.
I can't.
Wait
I cannot go. I'm gonna mute you both. What the hell? He is not the Nicolas Cage of Canada or whatever right now. Like,
no, but he's on his way.
No,
That's
he's not.
the point.
No, he's not.
Wait, is Nicolas Cage from Canada?
No, he's not.
No.
My point is that you're saying that he's doing a lot of stuff. Nicolas Cage did like 11 or 12 movies last year, and you've heard of one of them. Like. Yeah. That's the difference.
Did you watch The History of Swear Words?
No.
Oh, he hosts that.
Who he? Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
Like
anything for a paycheck at this point for him.
He just needs. Well, he needs the paycheck, but two, he's bored. He just wants something to do. I mean, for every
he's doing side quests.
Yeah, for every Pig and Mandy. He does something called Jiu-Jitsu and Grand Isle and Primal and Kill Chain and Running with the Devil and Color of Outer Space and The Score to Settle. You've never heard of any of those. But I can name...
I know. I'm not saying Reynolds is there yet.
No, he's not even close. It's not even close.
Okay, when I'm looking at like Netflix top 10 and he's 4 of those movies on the cover, like it's too much.
It's because they're good movies.
Well, I lose interest now.
That's fine. So... I mean, again, you can lose interest in all you want. There's other actors that I'm pretty sick of too. I just want to make sure Nicolas Cage, Ryan Reynolds are miles apart.
Okay, Sonia, in 5 years, when Ryan Reynolds is the new Nicolas Cage, we're gonna come back and we're gonna be like in your face. You know,
he did 3 movies this year. He only did 3 movies this year, and only 2 of them he starred in. This
only
one,
3. He has young kids and a wife. You know, once his kids get older, he's gonna have more time.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, 5 years.
Right? 5 years. See, I did the math. Don't you worry.
Oh my gosh.
It's good math.
He did.
What's in the world?
Okay, so I have
don't know
a second
happening.
5-word review.
Oh,
I don't even want to hear it.
This is never gonna get done.
Okay, this one's not about Reynolds, and this is more of a general review of Christmas movies.
General review.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Why is death so festive?
Why not?
So many Christmas. I mean, this is Christmas Carol. This is have redone a million times. It's, really old and done in every which way. And there's a bunch of Christmas movies that all revolve around losing someone around Christmas. And I'm like, when I want to feel Christmassy, that's not usually my first thought. Right. So that's my 5-word reviews.
Says the woman with a Nightmare Before Christmas mask behind her left shoulder.
That's for the Halloween season. I'm more of a Halloween Nightmare Before Christmas myself,
I love it. No, you're not wrong, but I mean, Day of the Dead. I mean, that's the celebration, and it's all about death.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, death. It's just all how you want to look at it, I guess.
For sure.
It can be a celebratory thing. By the way, I've had the IMDb page for Spirited pulled up, and I've watched the trailer for this movie now like 11 times. It's rather interesting. I need to navigate away from that. It's not like I have pages of notes to refer to.
If we get to those,
we'll get to them.
If
no, I'm just gonna mute myself here in just a moment, and I'm just gonna let Jessica just read. It'll be like
the notes?
Story time with Jessica.
Okay.
Sam,
all my notes are about the plot holes, though.
That's fine.
So we fixed them already.
We didn't actually. There's a couple missed.
There's more.
And I do want to. It also kind of feels like I'm like the spirited apologist here. I just
no, because I'm right here with you, dude.
I really had a good time.
I didn't say it was a bad movie. Just I
didn't say it was a bad movie.
All you said.
Stop putting words in my mouth.
You just hate it. It's fine, and you hate Ryan Reynolds, who is a national treasure.
I have good notes too. I say
would it be international?
We will claim him down here if you're gonna throw him away up there. So
right.
Yep.
That's fine. Just take him for 3 years. That's all I'm asking.
We still need to watch Hitman's Bodyguard for the podcast. You
guys
want to come back on for that?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm just okay. This is the second. Okay, this is the second Ryan Reynolds movie I've reviewed on a podcast as a guest, and I say the same thing every time. So I'm hoping one day Ryan Reynolds hears this and gets a hint.
Oh my God! If he listens to my podcast, that'd be fantastic. I just so we do have some guests that are like our niche guests, right? So like Lindsay is our Nightmare on Elm Street guest, right? We only do those with her. Cameron is our sword and sorcery guest. The 3 movies that he's been on have all been sword and sorcery, so we have to kind of continue that theme. Though technically he was on a Star Trek one, but that doesn't count. And because it wasn't just him, he was with another podcast that he's with. So you ladies can be our Ryan Reynolds.
Hey, there we go.
I like it.
We'll torture you over and over again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch all the Ryan Reynolds movies so that I'll feel more vindicated in my opinions about him.
We're gonna actually do a Cheapseat Review side project. It's just gonna be the 4 of us watching Ryan Reynolds movies every other week.
On repeat.
I like
over and over.
Can we watch them like chronologically? Start with
the
first. And go move up.
Are we going to do 3 Men in a
Blade
Pizza
Trinity?
Place or whatever it's called? Are we doing that one too?
Oh, the
or
TV series?
The TV stuff or just movies?
No, I'm good with TV series too. Apparently, I really need to, hate Ryan Reynolds even more. So I don't hate him enough, apparently. I to be honest, I never said I hated him.
I know
just
you
said
didn't.
I'm a little annoyed.
No.
A little annoyed.
You're just ready for him to take a break and go hang out with his beautiful wife and whatever. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, every now and then we get actors like that, right? We're done with Adam Sandler and the Adam Sandler movies of the 90s. You know, Pauly Shore was in the early 90s. I want to say Jim Carrey ran his run.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it is a thing, right? I think it is a thing where we get too much of a good thing and we get tired of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet with
yeah. Well, a lot of people aren't. That's why he's still making movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's going to be a Deadpool 3 that's going to be somehow tied into the MCU, and it's going to be fantastic. So.
Yeah. Actually, the Deadpool movies are I think the only thing I'm not like, Ryan Reynolds. So you know what? He can take a 3-year break, but still do some Deadpool movies. See, I'm negotiating.
I will. Honestly, one of my favorite things he's done in the last 5 years was The Hitman's Bodyguard. I loved that movie because it's a buddy cop with him and Samuel L. Jackson, and And again, it's him. It's still Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. He's, it's still him doing his shtick. But it just makes the movie because Sam Jackson, he's not like the straight guy.
He's doing him too.
Yeah, I know. Sam Jackson just plays himself too.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
they're just playing themselves.
You're 100% right. And then Gary Oldman is the bad guy who's just basically being a typical Gary Oldman bad guy. Like the movie is tropey as hell, but I love it so much. I mean, it's one of my comfort movies where it's like, it's like I need to go to bed. No one's playing video games. I'll put on Hitman's Bodyguard and watch like 30 minutes of it, and then it just makes me happy. It does. All right, Sam, what's your 5-word review?
All right. Well, after those 5 words, I've got 2 of them here. All right. My first one is smart, twisty, turny musical fun, and then big dang beautiful Christmas musical. And I think that's 5. Big dang beautiful Christmas musical. Guys, I needed this movie.
Are you counting on your fingers?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah. I needed and loved and absolutely appreciated this movie today. We talk about losing and my life has been crappy in terms of losing people this year. And I needed something happy. I needed something fun. And I needed something where I turned my brain off. And this hit on all cylinders. I loved every aspect of this movie. Will Ferrell is fun. And I was a little cautious going into this thinking, can these guys sing? But daggone it, when Ryan Reynolds does his spiel with the Christmas tree people, I was laughing out loud. It was gorgeous. It was great. I had so much fun. And I even put on Facebook, if you haven't seen Spirited, you got to see this thing because this is a new classic in our house, and I can't wait to show my wife this movie because she's going to love it too. So I can't rave enough about it. It hit me at the right spot, at the right turn, and in a Christmas where I'm not going to have my parents around and a good friend around. It was soothing to the soul.
That's good. Great when movies can do that, right? Like sometimes like real life is and then like you can like just forget and immerse yourself.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
I can't pause it.
I could be brown.
This is Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell singing, by the way.
I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be
Will Ferrell singing the high part.
I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
So that song bit on TikTok was super popular about 6 months ago, right? Where everybody was doing that. Well, they were filming this movie when that was going on. So they snuck off. They were on set. They just went and snuck off, grabbed a couple microphones, and did that like in between takes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it just blew up, on TikTok or whatever. And they didn't rehearse that. Like they just did it. And so to your point, can they sing? Yeah.
They can sing. And
to be fair, we already knew Will Ferrell could sing.
Yeah.
If you've seen Step Brothers.
Oh, I haven't seen.
And Superstar.
Oh yeah, Superstar. Yeah, you're right. He does sing in that. I forgot he sings.
You might have only been a small child.
Well,
I
he
was
also
a small
sings
child when that one came out, but when Step Brothers came out, I was right in high school.
He also sings an elf.
Yeah.
He
he
duets in Elf with what's her name? So
yeah. Well, it was Ryan Reynolds that we were all wondering about, right? I mean, honestly, if he could do that.
Not if you've seen Ryan Reynolds also sang in a movie. What's the one where he has voices in his head?
What, Women
See,
Want?
I do know my Ryan Reynolds.
No, that's Mel Gibson.
Reynolds.
Yes, Mel Gibson way back in the day.
The Voices, 2014, Ryan Reynolds thriller. He does have a singing part in that. Anna Kendrick's also in that movie. So we did know he could sing too. Why don't you guys watch any movies? Like, come on.
You have no idea how many times I hear that when like I haven't seen a movie. Like, you have a movie podcast. I'm like, I know, but that doesn't mean that we've watched all of them yet.
Yes.
There are
so you
things.
watch them for your podcast, right? Like,
there are times there are very specific times when I'll see a movie and I go, "Ooh, I want to do that for the podcast," so I'll wait to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's happened. Like, I'm not going to watch Black Adam until it's time for the podcast. Just like I did with Shazam. I wasn't going to watch Shazam until I was forced to watch it, which I was forced to watch it 2 weeks ago, and I was on another podcast.
You didn't like it?
That's why I watch so much TV stuff and Netflix episode stuff, because I know if I watch a movie, I'm going to ruin it for the podcast. I'm gonna have to watch it again for the podcast.
Because more than one occasion, I'll like, "Hey, this is our next movie," and Andrew's like, "I watched that last night." I was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna watch it again." And to your point, to Sonia, your question, I liked Shazam fine. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine, but DC hasn't made a great movie ever since The Dark Knight. So
the problem is, like, every time I like watch a movie for a comic book I read, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. Only because I love it. It just brings me back to like reading comics.
Sure.
You know, like I think that's the only reason I love them. People like point out all the flaws. I'm like, but it's the comic.
I don't know the comics, especially Shazam. I don't know anything about the comics, so I'm only watching it for the entertainment movie purpose. And I was entertained and it was fun. I had a good time with it. I didn't hate it. I really didn't. If you're going to rank the DCEU movies, I would put Wonder Woman 1 and it 2. I hadn't thought any
The
farther.
original Wonder Woman, right?
The first one, yeah. Well, the first one with Gal Gadot, yeah. The second one is trash.
It's so trash.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
That plane scene alone drags it down. Just when they're cruising in that airplane going 12 miles an hour through fireworks, like, it's so dumb. Anyway.
Yeah, how no. They were like slow motion, like fire. It was no.
Yeah, the fireworks are exploding. They're in a jet that's going supposedly like 700 miles an hour, but it's like they're cruising and they're looking at fireworks like neither one of them have ever seen fireworks before. It's like,
yeah.
Like, I know he's
like,
from
whoa.
World War I era, but they had fireworks then. You know,
Yeah.
He was in a war. He's seen shit explode. Anyway, not the point. The point is, it's my turn for 5-word review.
Yes.
I wrote fun, heartfelt Christmas Carol musical. Just simple. This movie had feels for me for days. I think I said pre-show, this movie had me at the end. I did weep at the end, like a hungry, angry baby. This movie to Sam's in a little bit. Obviously, Sam, you're in a different place than I am. But this movie also was like a breath of fresh air. Now, I programmed December for fun specifically because we need some fun in our lives. And
and
so
the year with fun.
Yeah, we're gonna end the year.
Exactly.
We're gonna end the year with a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the rest of the month. But this was a really great way for me to kick off December and the Christmas season. I've only watched so far one, and I didn't really get to watch it. Okay, you're gonna laugh at this. Okay, hold on. Story time with Uncle Sean. We went to my niece's birthday party, literally with Uncle Sean. We went to my niece's birthday party and just wasn't feeling 100%. And all the adults were drinking and they're laughing and they're being loud and whatever. And I just didn't want to be anywhere near that. So they're like, hey, let's put a movie on for the kids. And so they go onto Netflix and my son screams, oh, let's watch Klaus. And I'm like, oh, I'm in because I love Klaus. Klaus also gets me in the feels every time. And so I sat there with the kids and watched Klaus while the adults were in the kitchen. And the funny part is that a couple times they would get loud because alcohol, and I turn up the volume. Then my brother-in-law comes in and turns down the volume. I'm like, hey, I just turned that up. And he goes, well, we're competing. And I'm like, yeah, you're winning. That's the problem. Like, we can't hear the movie. And he just kind of gives you this look like, well, then, anyway. So this is kind of the first Christmas movie I've watched this year. And I just adored it. And Jessica, I'm here for all of the plot holes and all of it. This is honestly.
And I totally understand him as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I can't argue.
I won't argue a single one except for just for the fun of arguing with you. But like, this is also going to be a movie. Jessica, you can 100% rip this thing apart. I'm still going to give it like an 8.5 at the end of the episode. This movie was an absolute comfort food, warm blanket, everything I needed.
Yes.
Like today.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. I just didn't like the ending. I loved it all the way through. It was like such a great performances, and the music was great. Like moving around with it, like the dancing was amazing.
The pacing was very good.
Yeah.
You know, I know.
I also really liked that somebody posted on Twitter that like, oh, the music was bad. I'm like, okay, not every musical is going to be Lin-Manuel Miranda quality. Like, let's, you know what I'm saying? Like that bar is so high that if it doesn't meet that, you know, it's bad. No, this was good. The lyrics were great. Good Afternoon had me laughing. I was into it.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. I mean, all of the music was really fun. Even this, you know, the kind of emotional songs, again, were beautifully sung. I mean, Octavia Spencer was like, I am not a singer. I don't know how to do this. Like, I only sing in the shower and badly. So, and to your point, though, about the ending, I do wish we didn't have the very end the way that it did. I do wish that Ryan Reynolds, again, spoiler, dies, right? He sacrifices.
Yeah.
But, like, so then Marley comes out and says, without the consequence, then the sacrifice doesn't mean anything.
But then there wasn't a
consequence. But then there wasn't a consequence.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I wish it would have stayed the consequence. And
stayed separated or, yeah.
If he just, he let him be CEO now of the afterlife. I'm fine with that. I like the idea that he's now become so powerful in the afterlife that even Marley is
he
like.
Leveled up, yeah.
Yeah, he did, because he's like, hey, I'm going to see you at that self-help seminar. And Marley's like, oh, shucks, I'll be there for you, Ryan Reynolds, you know? So, like. I was there for, but then you're right. When he goes to visit Will Ferrell at the end, it's like, well, okay, well, but I don't know. I guess maybe in our own brain, maybe we can say, well, he can only do that to them because one, she's seen ghost in Will Ferrell, and two, because Will Ferrell was a ghost, he can see that rule can be broken. But
I don't know.
I still think it kind of cheapens the sacrifice. I think
they talk about going to watch the niece's recital or something. Also,
yeah,
like he's also still keeping up with his family. So he didn't. He didn't die. He got superpowers.
Yeah,
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
All right, Jessica, I'm really interested. What? Oh, sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
I was going to say that one of the things I absolutely adored about this film was the idea of the Christmas Carol and how they twisted it in such a way to make a new, unique story out of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this was, I always watch movies for something I've never seen before. And I loved their take on this and how they made it that there was this big, basically a production company behind all of these changes and who everybody was. I did not see the Scrooge turn coming.
Not at all.
And
I
thought it was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it.
I did too. I loved that. I really liked that the movie wasn't just about Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't just, it is as much about Will Ferrell and his redemption as it is Ryan Reynolds. And then frankly, I kind of like the fact that ultimately Ryan Reynolds isn't really redeemed.
He's still himself.
You know, like
he has just moved his energy to a different place.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he still kind of sucks. I mean, he even said it. He's like, I've not changed. I just prevented a kid from committing suicide, which is a noble thing. He says, and I'll have some guilt for 3 days, and then I'll rationalize it. That's not the word I'm looking for, but and then I'll just go back to being whatever because that's what I'm good at. So now, did Will Ferrell jump in front of that bus so that Ryan Reynolds would do that, or was he trying to go back? I don't know, but it also kind of makes it feel like, well, if this is what, like, it also makes me wonder if, like, do people, like, does everyone get to go to this afterlife, or is there a heaven and a hell, and these people go here because of certain qualities they had as humans.
Well, like a job board in the afterlife.
Right.
Yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. Like if everyone can get a retirement plan, and they're all just coming back as their adult selves. That's where I have a problem with the retirement plan thing.
But it's a musical. People break into song. I mean,
Well, and to your point, Jessica, when he talked about the retirement plan, he gets to go back and be a human. I honestly thought that was going to be like reincarnation.
That's
right?
what I thought.
He was going to grab it, and then there was going to be a baby.
Yeah.
And then he was just going to. That's what I thought. Then he was going to get to live a life. No, he's going back as a 50-something-year-old man. It's
younger than he was when he died.
Yeah.
Unless he just, because he looks like Scrooge when he's Scrooge, and then he dies.
Yeah, but those are
well, he was probably 20 years old back in the day.
Yeah, like those years were hard. Those were some city miles on him right there. So
yeah. So how does the age like if he just like gets old and then dies, and then he goes back to work, and then he earns his retirement plan again? Does he just come back older?
Right.
Until he's eventually so old he's just reincarnating and then dying again?
Yeah.
Just within that minute? Like, how does that... I got questions.
His body's too old to stay alive.
Yeah, just back to work.
But like the guy at the beginning of the movie who's kind of our voice, he's like, what's happening? She's like, this is a musical. What is the afterlife? Like he seemed surprised at that information. And then the other guy makes a joke about, can someone go, clear my browser history? Like, it just kind of made me wonder, like, well, this production obviously isn't all of the afterlife. So there must be a line of demarcation, right? Like you die, you go to some kind of bureaucracy, like with Miss Minutes in the Loki show, right? And then like, oh, well, you actually have the Christmas spirit in you. You're going to get to go and hang out with these people. You were terrible. You're going to go to hell, which will, or whatever. And you did really, really good. You just get to go and hang out in heaven and whatever. Because like this afterlife, apparently like you can have relationships. And and apparently you can also bang a ghost.
Yeah. Like there's no downside in being like these ghosts, right? Like you can just choose to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, you're cute, let's do it. Like you don't age. You don't have bad backs.
I did like that bit when she comes back. He's like, what? Are you already done? And she's like, believe me, I'm done. Like I'm good. He's like, it's been a long time since someone has looked at me like that, and it was pretty.
Then you have to do all the work. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you take my shift?
Yeah, I like that.
What a great way to call in to work. Be like, you know what? I just can't. Like I just had some really good sex for the first time in 200 years. Like I need a break. I'm taking the day off. Ask Susie to cover my phone.
And think about it, like she really only has one day work, right? Like the rest of the day is prep for this one day, and she only works for about 15 minutes.
Too much.
She's like, I'm out, guys. This is good.
Yeah.
Could you imagine dying and then being like, okay, here's your job?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And like it's also really interesting to think about like Sam, like you're like a graphic artist and things like that. So like if you died and went to this place, like would you have to do that job? Like would I have to be the sound guy for this production?
Boom operator. Yeah.
The boom operator. Oh no. I'm gonna be the sound guy in the chair. I'm gonna be the can I be lighting guy? Can I switch low sound? Only sound? Okay, fine.
We're podcasters, so we'll run Heaven FM,
Yeah.
99.8 smooth jazz.
There you go.
All day, every day, 7 days a week.
I don't think there's jazz in heaven.
I don't know.
It's the other place.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, then,
Corny's going to come on the podcast to hurt you. All right, Jessica.
Okay.
I give you the floor.
Okay. Well, it's mostly so one of the things was the retirement package. So I did already talk about that. So I will move on from that. After seeing Octavia Spencer in Ma and then seeing this movie, have you guys seen Ma?
No, but I know what it is, yeah.
Yeah. So seeing her in that being, a little homicidal, and then seeing her in this, I appreciate her range.
Yeah.
She has great range.
Yeah,
like,
great.
So like
range.
she's surrounded by actors who don't have range, and then she's in there giving it her all.
Exactly. I said Reynolds' accent does blow.
That was the best, though. Oh my god, that's so perfect.
Jessica, that's like
it would totally fit in on our podcast when we try to do accents. I mean, oh my god, it was perfect.
Jessica, you've now mentioned twice clips I've pulled for the podcast. So
I'm sorry. Do you want to just play the clips and then I can?
No, it's fine. Keep going. But I'm interested. It'll be funny to see if you can get. There'll probably be at least two that you don't, but I'll be interested to see if you get some other ones because we've actually mentioned three of them.
Well, I said my new catchphrase is now "Welcome to the Bone Zone."
Nice.
So
That's a
I
good
added
one.
that. Yeah, I know that was really good. I did have a little. I thought it was a little dystopian how the scenes surrounding homeless people, they were just props because we're talking about the kid, and I was just like, wow, even in the afterlife, they still don't give them resources. It's still going to rich people. So I thought that was funny. And I don't think it was wrong of Reynolds' character to say no to custody of a child.
If you're not a parent, you're not a parent.
I didn't understand the shame in that. I felt like, a child probably shouldn't be with someone that doesn't want to take care of them. Personal opinion. And
I think no, hang in there. Let's stay there for just a second.
Yeah.
I think that, and you're not wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, some people aren't cut out to be parents. Sam and I know some of those people, and and they're just parents because they are. And
that's what society told them they should do at a certain point.
Or their spouse.
That's the issue. Is a lot of that is in shame.
Yeah.
Because it's shameful to decide to not want to parent a child you brought into the world and that kind of stuff. And I feel like if you get rid of the shame around that, then children might be able to more find, I think the daughter was fine with the other guy. The other guy looked like he took care of her. He loved her. He was, doing his best versus what Ryan Reynolds might have done, The
only part of that is that I feel like maybe because it was also kind of weird that she would ask him anyway, because she grew up with this guy. Like, she knows what he is. I mean, even the daughter doesn't really like him. He walks in, hands her a present. Her instinct is to donate it. She doesn't want it. So it would have been a bad situation anyway. The only reason why I can think is she would ask him in the first place is because he has the means to take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
She would want for nothing. She'd be a jerk, but she would want for nothing. I would use a different word, but I don't use that word. But she would, you know what I'm saying? It does make sense, though, that the other brother gets her. And Ryan Reynolds would later say, like, I pay for everything. That's fine if you want to be the cool uncle that pays for everything. But, like, you're not wrong, Jessica, in that moment. Now, again, it's putting shame. It's his moment. It's his kicker in the movie. But again, it still ultimately doesn't change him. It makes him feel a little bit of guilt.
But maybe that's why it didn't change him, because it wasn't. I personally don't think that was a very shameful moment to be like, you know what? I can't take care of a kid in the way that needs to be taken care of, the emotional and that kind of stuff. So he just takes on the financial burden. So maybe it just wasn't enough to change him, because it's not a shameful moment.
Yeah.
It was the most mature decision he made was
exactly. That probably was the best decision he made. And they're trying to use it as this, oh, you're going to change your mind. And I'm like, that's not he has no better memories where there might be some, something in there. Yeah. So that is my opinion on that. So maybe that's why he didn't change. They chose the wrong memory. They didn't do their research well enough.
Well, and they probably,
their own beliefs.
To your point, they probably thought that would make a huge, this is a moment for you, because he didn't want to go there originally, right? The movie made him go back Because
I wouldn't want to see, that moment either again. I mean, you're seeing your siblings sick in the hospital.
Yeah, that's the part I cried. Because
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's more like not wanting to relive that experience than no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take care of your kid kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the only really part about it was like he did kind of leave like a douche. He just kind of like, okay, well, here's my brother. She has something to say.
Yeah.
Like he kind of like backdoors it a little bit and then just like runs away. So it was a mature decision, just done very poorly.
Yeah,
and maybe if he would have had a better tact, But you're right. You're 100% right that it was probably the best decision moving forward. All right, what else you got?
Okay, I did find a fact about Charles Dickens. If anyone's interested,
absolutely.
Okay, so there's a myth that he considered 3 names for Tiny Tim, such as Little Larry.
Gosh dang it.
Which was mentioned, Puny Pete and Small Sam, but the only ones that actually appear in early manuscripts of A Christmas Carol were Little Fred and Tiny Mick, named after family members of his.
Tiny Mick.
So he did Tiny Mick, and then he changed it to Tiny Tim. So, and then Little Fred ended up becoming Fred in the story, named after his uncle, I believe. So, facts.
Well, there goes one of my questions for the quiz. Okay.
I'm sorry. I got questions. Okay, no.
No,
okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
We're gonna move on.
And then most of the other stuff we've already talked about, and some stuff I'll use if I have to ask any questions of you guys. I don't want to give it all away. I'm a woman of mystery.
Yes, that's very true. I have known that about you recently. All right. Well, I will play some clips now because otherwise we're just going to say them at some point anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
This clip is this one cracked me up. This is when Ryan Reynolds is doing his big production number while talking about, which by the way, it was so funny, this whole Christmas tree grower thing. Like to me, this sparked 2 thoughts in my mind. One, the whole fake war on Christmas that came around about 5 years ago, where they're like, it's a war on Christmas. Like, that's not a thing. That's never a thing.
No.
Stop it, you weirdos. Yeah. But also, the night that I proposed to my now wife, I was running sound at a convention event for the Regional Christmas Tree Growers Association. It is a real thing. And it was at the church that I was working at. And so because the event, I was told, was only going to last an hour, and these guys went 3 hours, the meal that I was going to prepare, I didn't have time to buy, so I'm texting, and this is the early days of texting, right? I'm texting my best friend to go to the store to buy all these ingredients so that I can go to, eventually, my parents have a condo up in the mountains of North Carolina, and I was going to prepare this big meal and cook it for her and then propose that night. And so I'm texting him everything that I need, and then within minutes of that, Sarah would text me and say, hey, I'm cooking you breakfast for dinner tonight. I'm like, well, I can't tell her no. So now I'm texting Chris back, don't go to the store. Don't worry about it. So anyway, it was a fun kind of memory there with the Christmas tree growers thing. So here we go. This is that was a bigger setup than the actual line here. But
he's like the perfect combination of Mussolini and Seacrest.
Just like that.
Oh my God. My husband was on Seacrest.
Nice.
Yeah, so I went to the
Did he get
studio. Later. Yeah, on camera. Okay, the good husband can't listen to this episode.
I can't believe you said that. That's such an Andrew thing to say. Oh my God.
Well, someone has to replace him for now, you know?
Yeah, right?
Oh.
He's a nice guy.
I've heard.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, Mussolini and Seacrest. Transition segue.
Okay, then I'm just going to do this then. Here we go.
See, it's a documented fact that one person's kindness can have a ripple effect. Spreading goodwill like a pandemic. No, scratch that. Sorry. You know, like You know when people at a football stadium stand up and do the wave? Like that. More like that.
Yeah. Not a pandemic.
Let's not talk about the pandemic.
We don't say the P word. I call it everything but. I call it the panini or the Pandora, but we don't call it the other one.
Nice. The Pandora. Oh man, what an awful Pandora we're having right now.
That's what I'm saying, you know?
Is it the commercials? Is that what's getting you down? No? Okay. Honestly, so we listen to music in our house at dinner time. We don't have the TV on. We listen to music. And so I'll turn the TV on and it's for some reason, again, we've been doing this for years with the kids. So the TV comes on and they get excited. And then I remote over to Pandora. And they're like, no, not Pandora. And it's like, you guys know we're not watching TV, right? We listen to music. But why does it have to be Pandora?
We used to get Pandora in Canada.
Why does it have to be death metal
at
dinner?
Right. Well, and that's the thing is because usually it's like film scores or like classical music. And so like if it's film scores, we'll play Guess the Movie. Sometimes we'll do musicals. Right now, it's set to Pentatonic's Christmas, so we're getting a lot of a cappella Christmas and stuff, and it drives my son crazy. I don't know why. He's like, ugh, more Pentatonics. Like, but you like the music.
That's because they all do that.
That's fine. Yeah,
they're too cool for what mom and dad like.
Well, he's 10, so he's like at that cusp, right before he becomes a jerk, and I don't want to be around him until he's 18. Like he's getting close to that. But right now, he still wants to hang out with us a little bit. So we'll take it. All right. This is Ryan Reynolds kind of basically playing Jessica in this movie. This is where he's like asking the questions that I'm sure Jessica wrote down. So here we go.
I'm so sorry. I'm stuck on the first thing there. You said past, present, future. Like a Christmas Carol? The Dickens story? The Bill Murray movie with Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yes, like the Dickens book and the Bill Murray movie and every other adaptation nobody asked for. Now, please, if you would just let me get this out. Sit. Here.
Okay, for the record, the Muppets one's really good.
No, that is...
So sorry.
Hang on, there's still a clip going. You hush your mouth. All right, hold on. Got 9 more. So they start the music. I cut the music out, and so here we go.
So out of all the people on the planet, murderers, racists, people who do gender reveal parties, I'm the guy you're gonna haunt.
Yeah, so okay, now you can talk, Jessica.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is funny. It's I understand the whole ripple effect because he has a lot of power and influence over a lot of people. I get it, but he does have an interesting point. So he would be good at our job, kind of making fun of the movie itself. And I also So I got in trouble with my sister-in-law at this same birthday party. I made a joke about things. Somebody said something like, "Oh, I don't remember what it was." But like, "Oh my gosh, if we can make a magic wand and make such and such go away, I would make that go away." And someone was like, "Oh, I would make such and such go away." And I said, "I would make gender reveal parties go away." And they looked at me and they're like, "Really?" And I go, "They're ridiculous." And they go, "Didn't you have a gender reveal party?" I said, "No." And my wife kind of looks at me and I said, "It wasn't a party. We bought, for my son, we bought my parents and my in-laws blue flowers and just handed them to him at dinner." And they're like, "Oh."
Yeah, that's a gender reveal. You're
right, but it wasn't a party. We went
to
to a restaurant and I handed them a blue flower. And then for our daughter, it was the same thing. We went to a restaurant, just my parents, her parents, and we handed them Hershey bars where we had the pink colored in where it said she, right? Hershey. And they opened up the pack. "Oh, she, it's a girl." Like that was it. We didn't set the countryside on fire, right? Is my point. So, all right.
I did think the Chain Ghost had like the best song, personally, just for my ears.
That voice was
I know.
A beautiful voice.
I thought the interrupting during that song was actually really annoying.
What it's supposed to be.
Well, I was really enjoying that song. I was like, there was other songs you could have interrupted. This song was good.
He did have a cool song. Yeah, his voice. Because I looked him up. I'm like, what is he from? And almost nothing that I've heard of. But
He's from so much stuff, though.
he's in a lot of things, just things I've never seen. But of course, I have a movie podcast. So I should know
Because you don't
them.
watch movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick Page is his name, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just got that. He just looks like a guy that's just seen a lot of things. Like just saying it. I mean, he's just he did something called Quantum Cowboys, and little did I know, Estella Scrooge, A Christmas Carol with a Twist. So this is 2 Christmas Carol movies he's done
Perfect.
within 2 years. He was Mr.
my God.
Myrtle. He was in NCIS New Orleans, an episode of Madam Secretary. I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff, but again, nothing I've heard of. So
He does mostly theater work.
Yeah.
but he was great. I really liked him. He was really good in that role. So, time for this line that we've already mentioned.
Now, fellow, here you are in a shitty British bar with a frothy little frown upon your lips. Another pint for me, friend, extra warm.
Your accent blows.
Well, I beg to differ.
You need to isolate that, Sean, with your accent blows.
I
You
do.
really
I haven't done that yet, but I do need to.
Pint for me, friend, extra warm.
Your accent blows.
I love it. Because it almost feels like I mean, I know it was scripted because the lyric references that moment. Yeah, I beg to differ. So obviously it was scripted, but it the delivery made it sound like it was ad-libbed. Like he's just like, oh God, you sound like Sam trying to do Australian. It's just, or Sean trying to do any accent.
I just want to say I wouldn't drink from any cup given to me in the 1800s. Like, it doesn't matter what's in it. Just the cup itself, I just would not drink from.
I love that Ryan Reynolds just immediately spits it out. And he's like, oh my God, this tastes like warm piss. And he's like, oh yes, this is great. Extra warm. Just
yeah.
And I did like the joke. He's like, I was reformed. Like, well, how long were you good for afterwards? He's like, 3 years, weeks. 3 weeks? Well, what did you die of? The 1800s?
January.
What was it? January. That's what he said. January. Okay, we mentioned her.
Just deplore them with decorum like a Judy bloody dench.
Wait, was that Judi Dench?
Oh my God, she's a national treasure. I love her in everything.
I loved her in that chocolate.
Chocolat.
The scene is great and Judi Dench is great and she was only on screen for 3 seconds, therefore she'll be nominated for an Oscar. But but again, to a plot hole Jessica mentioned earlier, or somebody mentioned, was
Yeah.
Will Ferrell knows who Judi Dench is, but he doesn't understand that people take showers more than once a month.
Like his job is research. You think he didn't see Ryan Reynolds shower every day?
Yeah, every day. Which, by the way, Sam, how jealous were you of that shower?
Oh, wasn't it nice?
Oh, see, women. This is gonna sound super sexist and generalized, and you can rip me for it later. But every woman I've ever known is obsessed with a big closet, right? We have a big full walk-in closet. I have about 4 inches of it, and my wife has the other 9 feet of it. But men love showers. If I could take out the garden tub that's in there, because I'm 6 feet tall, I don't fit in that thing. Right?
I have the opposite problem. And my bathtub, I'm so short that if I try and lay down in it, I slip and almost drown.
Like you drown? I can either soak my back or my knees. I can't do both. So when I had COVID, I was in pain. Everything hurt. So I curled up as small as I could to get as much of me in the Epsom salt bath as I could. But anyway, my point is that I would take that out and make a 7-foot shower, 17 nozzles and water coming from all directions.
Right.
Now, I will say this, though, too. Did that shower have a view of New York? Like, that was a little weird, right? Like,
That's like
I would
the new
love
thing where you like your bathroom, like your shower's like right there, and it's like all window, and you like your view is like wherever you're around. If you're like forest, city, desert, like that's the newest thing. That's like the new architect thing. Is like modern or whatever. Is biggest
feels
window.
so free. Like you see like everyone, and you're naked, and you're like, you can't see me, but I can see you.
Press your balls against the window.
Right there. Just make pictures.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's steamy. You can send
For the listeners,
messages.
for the listeners at home, Sonia and Jessica put their hands up like to the camera, like they were actually rubbing, like wax on, wax off, with somebody's balls, cleaning the window,
Writing steamy messages to the people that can't see them.
That's well. How I don't understand this. Is it like a one-way glass? I guess because you can't see in.
Well, as long as you don't have a light on inside, they can't see.
Okay.
Well,
so,
and a
Just
lot
like
of the
Sean,
time it's
you've got a light on right now, and I can see perfectly into your house.
well, yeah. I'm well, yeah. But I also have all those Christmas lights outside, so it's pretty lit up.
I think it's also like reflective on the outside. So it's like, and like they're usually really high up. Like you're not like a first floor apartment.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
with,
New
like-
York, so like, you know, on the other side of the street is a building equally as tall, and I'm sure there's somebody looking at Ryan Reynolds taking a shower every day. I mean,
Why not? Good for them.
Yeah.
Like that sounds fun. Like lucky you.
Yeah.
That's what they do in New York, you know. I think.
I know. I'm just saying, like
yeah.
those
Go down
pictures
and
would
watch
be
Friends.
all over the internet. Is my point.
Oh yeah, Friends, naked guy.
Yeah,
They would
ugly.
See,
always
there you
look at
go.
people across the way. It's a rite of passage. You got to do it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that anyway.
They're just so desensitized to it. You know, they don't even notice anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that does sound like New York.
Well, it'd be like sad. Nobody's reading your messages.
Well, I don't know. There's secret messages.
My last clip.
Are you okay?
He's fine, so. Yeah. He looks stupid.
Okay, you look stupid. No. Hey, he's not even wearing a costume. Okay, will you please just get it together?
So that's when he sees the guy in the Buddy the Elf costume and tells him he looks stupid. So,
While in Buddy the Elf character.
yeah, when he saw that, my next thought was, oh, is somebody at the party going to be in a Deadpool costume?
Like a Christmas
It
Deadpool.
wouldn't have made sense.
Why not?
though.
Isn't there like a Christmas Deadpool? Like there's literally like a picture of him with like mistletoe and
Well, that's
whatever.
in this one of the sex scenes. Is,
That's true, I guess.
It's Christmas sex scene.
Nice.
So there you go. Deadpool's a Christmas movie.
There you
can add
go.
that to your list.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could have put Deadpool like in the back as like a Easter egg. Like where he's, you know, kind of
Like a Funko Pop or something.
yeah, like they
Who,
should
who
have done
says
that.
they didn't?
Well, it's true.
Oh, I looked.
I didn't see any trivia about it, so.
Yeah. I didn't see. I saw a few characters, but that's it.
All right, time for this. Well, we don't have a game, but we're at an hour and 40. I think that's fine. I think we're
Yeah.
just gonna.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm gonna
I think
play
we're
this
good.
clip here.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I was gonna read some trivia, but somebody already read most of it. But I will read the one piece of trivia that Jessica didn't already say is that the name of the hotel in the movie is the Copperfield, which is a name for David Copperfield, another story written by Charles Dickens. So.
Oh,
Nice.
and the magician from Vegas.
Yeah, him too, and with the tigers and things.
There were other characters, not Ryan Reynolds related, but Christmas related at the Christmas party. Did any of you see any of them?
No, what you got?
I got Grinch. We had
Really?
Buddy the Elf. There was a Scrooge at the Christmas party. There was
Yep, saw
Heat
that.
Miser. Heat Miser. A Year Without a Santa Claus. He's stop motion, red hair.
Yeah. No, we are aware. We know.
Oh, okay. And Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
The
So
shitter's
they were
full.
at the Christmas party.
Nice. Was he there like dumping out his tank?
He had the robe on, I think. So
I do remember seeing that.
I
Yeah.
also there was a memorial at the end of this movie that I did look into. if you saw the Michael Gagnon, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Yeah, it says, R.I.P. Michael Gagnon. He was the truck driver who worked in the transportation department for several movies. And he actually passed away during filming of this in September. So that's one reason they memorialized it to him at the end of the movie.
Okay.
So that's my trivia.
All right. There are I do like reading sometimes the crazy credits. The reprise, is it reprise? Reprise. Okay.
Reprise is what I say.
I know. I'm doing the bit from the movie when the music starts and they're trying to figure, because the movie does break the fourth wall a couple times. Like, is this a musical? Also, when they're singing at the end of Good Afternoon, they're singing into the camera, and of course the whole reprise thing, like, and then obviously when Marley is like, no songs. You can do the thing if you don't sing. It's like, okay, fine. Like the fact that they're aware that singing is happening. It just reminded me of that bit from, Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, when like the son wants to start singing and it's like, no singing, nope.
This is a silly place. Yeah.
So, the reprise that the Christmas morning feeling is sung over the first half of the credits, featuring the entire cast in different locations from throughout the film. Okay, let's see. A full black and white version of Presents Ripple song is shown over the second half of the credits, featuring a huge dance number and ending with a shot of the entire crew.
Yep.
And a bonus scene after the credits where the Canadian hotel manager, PJ Byrne, is still ready to murder the janitor for walking through his grand lobby. However, a reindeer statue starts to float and ring like a bell, implying that he's the next target. So,
yeah.
There you go. That's all I'm going to say about that. Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Okay, this is where we do our top three, and we chose top 3 Christmas musicals. How nice. Now, normally, let's see, Andrew's not here. Sam, you go first this time.
Sure. I've got my number 3 is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which is an obscure as hell Jim Henson movie from the 80s. My number 2 is Nightmare Before Christmas. And my number 1 has to be The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we watched as a family for the first time about 3 nights ago. So
oh my gosh! As the first time.
First time. Yep.
Did your girls love it?
No, not really. They really they wouldn't get off their iPads. So.
Oh, you can't have devices when it's family movie night. Turn the internet off.
Yeah. Well, then it won't work on the TV.
You need to get one of those smart routers where you can turn off individual devices. I have.
Yeah. Oh, we do, but.
My kids don't watch movies. It's like a new generation thing.
I think it's right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
My son is really into anime, so that's all he watches right now. So anime movies are fine.
Okay, Jessica.
Okay, my third one, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
Obvious. My number 2 is All of the Other Reindeer.
All right.
1999. Drew Barrymore voices Olive. Olive is a dog. And she gets into a fight with her owner. And Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus. Quick plot. Santa Claus Blitzen gets sick or injured or something, and they're listening to the radio, and Santa's like, I don't think I'll be able to fly this year, but I'll try with all of the other reindeer. And Olive, the dog's pet flea, mishears it and goes, Olive, that's you. He needs all of the other reindeer. And she's like, oh, as a dog, maybe this is why I don't like to chase cars. And then they go all the way to the North Pole, and the postman is the bad guy, trying to stop Christmas because he hates delivering Christmas packages. It's a great 40 minutes, but it's a musical, I promise. And my number 1 is Rent. It happens around Christmas time. La Vie Boheme is sung on Christmas Eve. I don't care. It's a Christmas musical.
I won't dispute that at all. Sonia.
So I had a hard time because I just at the top of my head I couldn't think of Christmas musicals. So I wanted to throw in there the Bob's Burgers episode, Work Hard or Die Trying Girl. They do a Die Hard musical, which Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Nice.
But my actual ones are Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, The Muppets Christmas Carol, and the 1964 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Did you see that tweet that's been kind of floating around where it's it shows, Santa from Rudolph, and he's like, "Would you guide my sleigh tonight?" And he's like, "Actually, no, because you bullied me for all those years, and now you find value because I'm useful to you. No."
Right?
And some people have taken
fair. I felt bad for the dentist, the elf dentist. Do those elves not need a dentist? Who?
After you eat all that candy?
He's just looking after their health, and they're like, "No, you are an elf. You can't be a dentist." And he's like, "Yeah, I get it."
Yeah.
North Pole is toxic energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And Santa is the worst. I did see a funny one where it was the squirt gun that shoots jam. And it's this toy doesn't belong on the island of Misfits Toys. Just stop putting jam inside of it. This is a child problem.
Amazing though.
Yeah.
Jam, when you just squirt jam.
Yeah.
It's I feel like that should be a real toy.
It makes sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches just a breeze.
Or you just squirt in your mouth. Just hey, you want some jam? Boop boop boop.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Right?
Going to that aisle of toys.
That's too funny. I like it. All right. Sorry. I can't get over the noise though. Boop 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 part. It's now stuck in my head.
It's not a gun, so you can't go pew pew pew.
Yeah.
It's jam.
It's jam. Oh my gosh. What am I doing? Oh, it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
So I so I did honorable mention of Die Hard just because I wanted to.
But you got to put the musical in there.
I know there's no music. There is music in the movie, obviously, but they do sing at the beginning when they're in the car. He's like, "Can you put on some Christmas music?" He's like, "This is Christmas music, man," and then they sing the song. So my number 3 is, and this one's just for Sam because I love his reaction when I say this. The Polar Express.
Oh God. Yeah, the lifeless dead people running around out there. You talk about dead spirits doing Christmas.
That's so creepy.
We watch it. We watch it every year. We've watched it every year. My son was born.
Do your kids have nightmares?
No, they love it. They love it. They sing along. We've done the Polar Express in North Carolina a couple times. There's several of them here actually. But no, the movie doesn't bother them because they're used to it. It has issues. You're not wrong, Sam. It does have issues, or
if you expose somebody to terrible things long enough, it's like the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah,
you've given your kids Stockholm syndrome to Polar Express.
When my son was born, we had Disney posters hanging in his room, and one of them was from The Nightmare Before Christmas. No, it's just the one where it's Jack and Sally embracing with the moon behind them. And someone said, "Don't you think that'll scare him?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because it's a skeleton." I said, "Those are not scary unless you make it scary." If you kind of, you know what I'm saying? Now he's obviously not watched. There are certain scary movies that he's not going to watch, but I think it's okay. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Number 2, The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's a good transition.
Yep.
And my number 1, of course, has to be The Muppets Christmas Carol. And that one we watch every year on Christmas Eve.
Oh, wow.
Because
we don't have time.
There's one more sleep till Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that watches Christmas movies in my house, and that's one of my have to make sure I watch every year.
Yeah, no, we're pretty religious with our Christmas movies. Like I said, we'll watch Klaus at some point again in this house. Anyway, this is where we do this now.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Oh, I guess I was just saying that there's a bunch of Christmas movies that we watch because we do that in the house. There's a bunch that we watch. So anyway, the one that we've watched, my wife and I, we watch every year when we wrap presents is Four Christmases. We like that movie too. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, I
really
like
cute
that
one.
movie.
I just watched that one the other day. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's a good time. I guess Jessica goes first. This is our out of 10 segment where we give this movie a score from 0 to 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
See, that's a lot higher than I thought you were going to go.
No, see, I have my problems with it, but it's not going to take away the great cinematography, the decent songs. I don't think the songs were like really catchy or whatever, but some lines were good. You know, the pacing was also really good. Costumes were good. Story was a little different. You know, like it had a lot of good going for it. So, yeah, 7.
I like it. That's a good score. Sonia.
I'm going to give it a 9, and only because
Wow.
the ending. I loved it. I loved the whole thing, even with Ryan Reynolds. But like, if you just like the whole movie itself was like actually very well done. If they just ended it where Ryan Reynolds died, that would have been fine. But then they had that extra ending, and I was like, ugh, no, you just ruined it for me.
They Lord of the Rings it, Sam. They had too many endings.
Yeah. Well, and I would agree with this one, where I think they could have just ended with him running the show, and that's it. So, yeah.
That would have been, I think that would have been a little bit better than being Uncle Ryan or whatever. Sam, what
Uncle
you got?
Dead Guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clint.
I mean, like,
wasn't his name Clint?
I don't remember, but you have to think about it too. Like those kids now have an uncle that is a ghost, and like, it just that I just how do they keep that secret? You know, kids are bad at keeping secrets.
Well, who will believe them?
Oh, that's
Like
true.
that's you'll be like every day at school, like every parent teacher meeting, like your kids need therapy.
Right.
Like,
It's
just so you know.
a musical. It's a musical. For God's sake. They tap
live my
dance
life-
on demand. So, I mean,
I live my life as a musical. I'll be out doing the dishes and I'll be singing about it. Like musicals are real life too.
Yeah, but the chickens don't join in, I think is the point.
You
They
don't
do.
know
They-
that.
That's right.
One of them is named after my husband. Very musical chicken. Even has a TikTok him DJing a little bit.
You have okay, now it colored me intrigued. Sam, what's your score for
so-
this movie?
I'm going to give it an 8.95 out of 10. I thought it was wonderful. Very, very, very few flaws. And this is something that we're going to be watching in this house quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, we debated on whether or not watching this with the kids.
Yeah, there's some language.
There's a little bit of language. So I went to IMDb.
Good afternoon, man.
Yeah. Well, and here's the funny thing. So you can go to IMDb, and if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll tell you that it's PG-13 and why it's PG-13. And hold on, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. It's the parental guide. There, I clicked the right thing. So it'll say things like, what happened. So like sex and nudity, mild. It is a heavily implied through dialogue that a character had a one-night stand with the ghost of Christmas past. All right.
In his childhood bedroom, by the way.
Yeah, in his childhood bedroom. That's fine. Profanity, mild. In outtakes during the credits, an actor raises their middle finger. Okay, fine. This was the one part where we there was two. The one really one was a girl stands up to her drunken mother. The mother lunges at her, clearly threatening violence, but the girl runs away. And so Sarah and I were like, wait, there's a drunken mother that's going to hurt a child?
That happened.
That's the flashback. That's in the.
That's the childhood.
That's his
flashback.
mom.
Yeah.
And when his
Where
older
he goes
sister.
to find the dog.
Yeah.
It was like a learning experience, just like
It was,
there's garbage
but
people out there, yeah.
So, but having no context to it now, I read that and go, okay, we won't let it. So, but maybe next year we'd let my son watch it. He'd be 11 next year, so we could probably let him watch it then.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has a painfully strict PG-13 rule in the house.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. We
Oh,
have
no.
some pretty strict rules too.
This is the year Lucy gets to watch Jurassic Park.
Nice.
Oh,
'Cause she's now 12. So
I'm terrified of that movie.
I
I love it, but I always have dinosaur nightmares.
Nice.
Oh, those are the best.
I haven't given this a score. My score is I'm going to give it 8.5. I really had a good time with this. This was a lot of fun, and I find very few flaws with it, and even the ones that Jessica pointed out, which are very valid.
I don't hate this movie.
I'm not saying you hate it. You pointed the flaws out, rightfully so. They are valid, and you are 100% correct. And Sam and I ultimately can't really defend them, other than to say is we don't care. And neither does Sonia, obviously. It's fine. It would be. I do think this has the potential to be a rewatch Christmas movie in our house. And if you've made it now almost 2 hours of this episode, I hope you've watched it before you listen to any of this. I really do. Not all.
You could have watched the movie while listening.
Yeah, it's about the
combination.
Length.
Yeah, I don't recommend that, but definitely watch the movie. And I know we said that a long time ago.
Yep.
All right. That's it. That's our podcast. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Again, please tell our listeners where they can find your show. And once again, just point them to the fundraiser you're doing later this month.
Okay, so yeah, you can find Opinionated Lushes on all streaming platforms and all social medias. Just search Opinionated Lushes. We pop up new episodes every Friday, new unedited episodes Saturdays on our YouTube, and we have a fundraiser live stream from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. on December 17th, where we're going to have guests, music, fun, shenanigans, all of it to raise money for 2 chosen charities. So come donate, hang out, and Merry Christmas.
Perfect.
Or not.
Yeah.
Whatever you celebrate. We're open to it all. Thank you.
And their most recent episode that I listened to was their recap of their Vegas trip, and it was a really fun time. I learned all kinds of really interesting things about them. I learned that people assumed that Sonia and Jessica were lesbian couple, and that
I think we'd make a great couple, though.
and also that apparently Jessica is the man of the relationship, because they would always hand her the bill, which is really
obviously.
And I also love the story how you spilled pho all over your lap on the airplane, which drove me to go get pho at a restaurant when I was listening to that episode. So
I might have to do that
pho.
tomorrow.
It's so good. Yeah.
Pho pants.
We made the whole plane laugh because of your soup pants.
Soup pants.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it was like a whole skit.
We do podcasts in real life,
Yeah, it was great. So go listen to their show. It's a good time. And join us on the 17th for their fundraiser. Next week, we are going to do something even more specialer. That's right. Not only are we going to do a comedy, we're doing a parody. This is the first time we've done a parody. We are doing Wrongfully Accused. It's a Leslie Nielsen movie. It's my favorite Leslie Nielsen movie. I was so excited when I learned that it was streaming, and I just cannot wait. And I think we decided we're going to do it live. We're going to live commentate as we watch the movie. Is that the right word, commentate? I don't think that's the right word.
Sounds right.
It sounds.
Yeah,
it sounds.
I know what you mean. So
it sounds weird in my mouth right now. Anyway, so I'm so excited for this movie. Again, I can't describe in words effectively how excited I am for this movie, because it's one of those movies in high school I probably watched 30 times. I had it on tape, and everything about it just makes me laugh. So looking forward to that next week. Wrongfully Accused, with returning special guest Lady Wan. She'll be returning to help us out with that one. So in the meantime, go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can find links to all of our other social medias and things. And go buy merch from us. We have a new design for the t-shirt out there, and everything on the store. If you're listening to this podcast, just go buy stuff. But right now, when you hear this, because a lot of people listen to it within the first week of the show being released, the store has a sale going on for Christmas. So go buy a shirt or a hoodie or a sticker or a mug or something. Go buy it for someone that you love or someone that you hate, and that's fine too. And yeah, I had one other thing I wanted to make sure that I said before I close this thing out. Oh, I just remembered. I want to say this to you two ladies also. I didn't mention this 2 hours ago when we started this thing. You were actually filling in, and I wanted to make sure that that's well known. You came in at our hour of need. We had another guest lined up. She couldn't make it, and I said, "Hey, I put the call out into the ether. I need some help." And you ladies said, "We got your back. Let's do this." And so I really wanted to say thank you so much for. I mean, it wasn't super late notice, but it was only like a week ago that I asked you. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming in and for what it's worth, I'm gonna again to lift your egos a little bit more. I said to Sam, we need a guest for this week. Who do you want? And of the 3 shows that he listed you on top. So I just want to.
Yeah, that's true.
He absolutely did. So
way too much fun. You guys are so good. Thank you.
Thank you for
that
inviting us.
And that was coming from him who wasn't on the episode that you were on. Like that was
that's
just
amazing.
I was a little jealous actually. So
No wonder you thought you knew us. Like you already listened to us.
So I just wanted to make sure that was recorded for all eternity. That we really appreciate you guys coming back on and helping us out. So we love you, and you are both very awesome.
Yeah, ask us
you guys are
anytime.
a great show to be on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say anytime. How funny! You're already scheduled for February.
I know. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to say that or.
No,
if it
I
was
don't
like
care.
A mystery.
And my wife is already getting on to me for next Saturday at 11 p.m. when apparently I'm out and about with some lushes.
Yeah.
So,
who are very opinionated.
So remember, she can watch what we're doing on Twitch, YouTube, or our Facebook. So
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies, again so much. I keep saying guys. It's just the word. But thank you. I know it's just the English language. It's dumb. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on the show. So on behalf of Andrew, who we miss, Sam, Jessica, and Sonia, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you next week for Wrongfully Accused.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.